Okay, so welcome back. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about periodic functions. Well, we're going to talk about the period of a function. So before I define that, realize that the trigonometric functions are a type of function that what we call periodic functions. And so what are periodic functions? Periodic functions are functions in which they repeat a certain pattern over not time, but time could be in essence of as far as application, but for a particular number or in the x direction, let's say, the pattern repeats itself for a particular number. For example, when we look at sine, right? Sine of an angle, right? So again, as we represent sine as y, right? The y distance. So what happens is the y changes as a function of theta, right? So what happens is the value of sine theta changes, but then when it gets to one full revolution of a circle, it repeats itself. So we say that that's periodic. And so or cyclic, right? But so what is this period? Well, when we have a periodic function that repeats itself, right? Over regular intervals, then the period is the shortest interval over which a function completes one full cycle, okay? And so the period p of a periodic function is a number that represents the interval such that this is going to be true, right? So if I take a function, and if it's a periodic function, then that means that there has to exist some period, some number, the smallest number, such that if I take a value of x and I add the period, I get the same value, right? So it repeats. Okay? And so by definition, that is what a period is. So it is a number representing the interval such that f of x plus p is equal to f of x for any value of x in the domain. Okay? So now, what's the period for the trigonometric functions? Well, the period for sine, cosine, oh, hold on. And again, it shouldn't be a surprise, it's the reciprocal function. So sine and cosine, and then the reciprocal functions all have a period equal to 2 pi. So every 2 pi radians, again, which is one revolution, right? So every 2 pi radians, or one revolution of a circle, or every 360 degrees, they repeat the pattern. Okay? Now, for the other two trigonometric functions, tangent and cotangent, okay, the period is half that. So they repeat their pattern every pi radians, or half a revolution, or in other words, 180 degrees. Okay, so again, just make sure you understand that. And that's what it means, that's what the period stands for. Have a great day.